Coming up, is this watch a Seiko Presage killer? Let's find out.
You know what you're gonna be? Blasted.
Hello and welcome back to Automatic Reviews. I'm Mark. This week's review is of the absolutely stunning Kuo Kyoto Royal Smith 90-006C. But before we get to that, I'd just like to let you know that I put up videos every week and my goal is to focus on the best watches at all price ranges. Sometimes I'll feature a bargain watch, other times a grail. This channel is for talking about watches that are worth your time, regardless of price. If that sounds good to you, then consider hitting that subscribe button. And while you're at it, tap that little bell icon too, so you can be notified each week when my latest video goes up. Full transparency, this week's video was in fact sponsored. Kuo Kyoto has provided me with this watch free of charge and have told me that it's mine to keep. Just to be clear, they made absolutely no requests regarding the content of this video. However, I'll also remind you about how we do things around here. I will always tell you what I really think, regardless of whether or not the video is sponsored, so please enjoy this review with confidence. That said, I'm going to get this out of the way. I 100% love this watch. Full stop. I'm super impressed. Now, when I say I'm going to tell you what I really think, that doesn't only mean I'm going to tell you if I don't like a watch when the video is sponsored. It also means that I will tell you if I really love a watch when the video is sponsored. The whole point is complete transparency and me telling you my true feelings. So in this case, I'm just preparing you. I love this watch. So if you also find yourself interested in this watch, I will place a link to it in the description. They didn't ask me to do so, and it's not an affiliate link. It's just there for your convenience. All right, now let's take a look at this watch. Here's a quick look at the unboxing experience. Inside the outer packaging, you'll find the watch inside this linen bag. It's got this nice Kuo Kyoto branding on it. When you open that up, inside you'll find this black inner box with gilded Kuo branding. Sliding that open, we find this really nice brown leatherette Kuo travel case, also with gilded text. Popping that open with a button, you'll find the watch secured to a brown velvet pillow. It has a little piece of plastic to protect the watch face during transport. Attached to the watch is this retail-style hang tag, which reads Kuo Kyoto Japan-made watches. Also included in the box is this black branded microfiber cloth, and this little embossed documents bundle, which includes some instructions and the warranty card. You can see this one here is personalized to me and references this collaboration. This watch features a 1-year warranty. The 316L stainless steel case is all polished. The case is 35mm across and 10mm thick. It's 42mm lug to lug and it has a lug width of 18mm. It has a sapphire display screw down case back and a signed screw down crown. Powering the watch here is the Citizen Miyota 9039 automatic movement, beating away at 28,800 beats per hour and featuring a 42-hour power reserve. Here's a quick lume shot. This watch features Swiss Superluminova. The dial of this watch is a deep black with a super crisp waffle texture. It's also available in ivory. The gilt indices are a combination of triangles and sort of arrowhead shapes. The hour and minute hands are loomed swords, and the seconds hand is a needle. Printing of the text and chapter ring is very clean and contrasts nicely against the dark dial. Covering the dial is a sapphire crystal featuring an AR coating. Water resistance is 100 meters. This watch is made in Japan. The included strap is Italian leather and described as vintage green, which, to be fair, is in the brown family. Just maybe slightly greenish toned brown rather than a warm brown, but it's definitely a brown. It features quick-release spring bars, and it's also available in 2 other shades of brown, tan, black, and blue. It has signed, polished hardware. Here it is on my flat-profile 7-inch wrist. On the included strap, it weighs 45 grams. This watch retails for $1,050 Canadian, which works out to about $766 US. Worth noting is new customers can receive a 5% discount. Check out their website for more details. Now let's take a look at what you get for your money here. Even the mids here are nitpicks, so there are no lows. This piece is really well designed and executed. This element is pretty hard to see under regular lighting, but the movement spacer appears to be made of plastic. Before anyone gets too excited about this, there are a tremendous number of watches from many high-end brands costing a lot more than this watch with plastic movement spacers in them. There are many reasons they are chosen. They're flexible and easy to fit and refit into a case without causing damage. They're immune to corrosion, and they're light. Also, many people believe they provide some additional form of shock absorption, but I think that one is, still up for debate and maybe dubious. But there are definitely good reasons for watchmakers to consider using them. Us, though, people like you and I who obsess over these mechanical relics of the past, sometimes we get a little bit upset at the sight of plastic. It's not easy to see on this watch, and it was even harder to film, but I did notice it, so I have to mention it to you. This watch is still really well made, though, guys, so I'm at peace with it, but for some it'll be harder to ignore, so it is a mid. This Miyota 9039 movement isn't silent. It's an automatic that you can hear and feel. I like that, but some don't and view it as a negative. I feel like it's not as noticeable as something like the Miyota 90S5. I think that's a bit louder. I'd classify it as worthy of note, but not a problem. I definitely only consider it an issue for those that are very sensitive about these sorts of things, so for them, it's a mid. Warranties are a bit of an exercise in math. They aren't free. The length of the warranty is factored into the price of the watch. The more free repairs and replacements they need to do for longer, the higher the price of the watch. People wonder why watch prices are going up, but fail to notice the connection to the trend of longer warranties. So, that said, while I do prefer a longer warranty, I can understand why this is 1 year when you look at the price of this watch for what you get. Sure, it's not cheap at $750, but it feels like a more expensive watch. It's the most luxurious feeling watch at this price I've ever tried, so yeah, no surprise there has to be savings somewhere, but I'd prefer to see a minimum 2-year warranty. It's just my preference, so it's a mid. Size will be an issue for some of you. This watch is 35mm, so I will mention it in the mids, but stick with me guys, the size is perfect. Size is a high. This watch is literal perfection at this size. This is the 60s. This is Mad Men on your wrist. If you think this watch is too small, I recommend you re-examine that philosophy. This is just like all those watches all our heroes wore when we were growing up. A dress watch like this is the perfect size. I'm not a small guy, and my wrist is 7 inches, and that's rounding down. This watch looks absolutely fantastic. I'm not someone out here arguing that all watches should be in vintage sizing, and I don't think larger watches are a fad either. I just think that variety is the spice of life, and some watches just belong in these classic case sizes. Buy the chunky diver by all means, I love those too, but when you pick up that dress watch we all inevitably end up buying, my recommendation is you don't buy it to match the diver. Let it stand alone as its own experience. It's glorious, it really is. If you've ever found yourself searching on eBay for vintage watches but worried about buying a watch with endless repairs in its future, this is the remedy. This watch has all that charm with none of those issues. The strap that comes on this watch sells separately for 120 Canadian on Kuo's website, and it's not a cash grab, I totally get it. These are well designed, made with high-end leather and stitched perfectly. They aren't overpriced. I would prefer it on a deployant class because I like those, but the included hardware is good too. I think the name green for the color is a bit of a stretch. It's more like a swampy brown maybe, so therefore with a tinge of green. But it reminds me of a perfectly broken in old strap, except it's new, so it's sort of the best of both worlds. It's got that aged vibe that suits the vintage aesthetic of this watch to a T. It also has quick change spring bars too, which is always great. Also worth mentioning is the inside of the strap is super soft leather, so it's not very water resistant, but you do in exchange get a very comfortable wearing experience. So sometimes you just gotta go for pure comfort, and this strap definitely has that. Most watches priced below the premium tier will offer mineral glass on the back. This watch is priced similarly to entry-level Swiss like the Tissot PRX, for example, and not only is the view through the case back much nicer, it's also equipped with a sapphire crystal, like on the front. It's odd because sapphire really doesn't add that much to production cost, but I suppose like $20 per unit over 1,000 units adds up, and many companies just think out of sight, out of mind. Not Kuo though. According to my diamond tester, they went the extra mile and delivered the full sapphire sandwich, and I love it. It gives the watch a little spec bump, which makes you feel like you're getting more for your money, but more importantly, it's not going to gather scratches when you set the watch down and ruin that gorgeous view of the movement. If you can take your eyes off the movement for a second, you'll notice the etching on the case back is really deep and premium looking. Same applies to the crown. It's these little details that elevate a watch. The dial is a stunner. From the sharp etched pattern to the lovely gilt indices, this watch is a sight to behold. It's truly gorgeous. Even the printing is crisp and premium looking. Kuo paid attention to every detail. This watch has a reliable movement, and that's what's most important, but it also looks absolutely excellent. The Geneva stripes are perfectly machined. The custom rotor is gorgeous and exceptional as well. This is one of the nicest branded rotors I've ever seen on an off-the-shelf movement. Just look at that clean gold text. It really pops. This movement is a home run. A dress watch with a screw-down crown and 100 meters of water resistance? Unreal. While this watch can optionally be worn on metal bracelets or other waterproof straps, to me a watch like this is born to be worn on a classic leather strap. So why all that water resistance? This is about peace of mind. Trip and fall into a puddle? Your strap might not ever be the same, but this watch is going to survive it all. They've compromised nothing aesthetically, and yet they've given us this really practical feature. It's just absolutely awesome. Even with the naked eye, I knew the macros were going to be good. It's that thing I always talk about where people say macros don't matter, but to me, the macros explain why we feel the way we do when we look at a watch. That subtle distaste you feel for a watch can often be explained when you get it under magnification. Dust, scratches, hairs, smudges, uneven printing, sloppy loom application, and generally poor craftsmanship will translate to an unsettling experience. When a watch is really well made though, your eyes just relax when you look at it. When that happens, I know the macros are going to be great. And that's exactly what happened the second I laid my eyes on this watch. It's made with care and it shows. Great watches are made in several different parts of the world. One of the places that does it best is Japan. This watch is made by a Japanese company and features a Japanese movement. This is such a great example of why Japan is so respected in the watch world. This is the perfect representation of what their industry can achieve. From the packaging to the materials to the design and execution, you can feel Kuo's affection for their customers. So many brands seem to be trying to ride the line to find the tipping point where you'll buy their product. They offer you just enough to get your money. Kuo's the opposite. They clearly absolutely respect their customers, and that's really refreshing. So let's talk more about the sheer value proposition. Yes, even at around $750 US, this is a great value. This watch oozes quality, from the macros which show off their obsessive attention to detail to the undeniably classy wearing experience. You can buy really nice dress watches for less, but I'm telling you, every time I put this watch on, I have this feeling of watch nerd pride, like I've just strapped on a really high-end piece. This isn't just a great watch for the money. This is a great watch, period. So, I started with the question, is this watch a Seiko Presage killer? The answer to that is absolutely 100% yes, as far as I'm concerned. I've tried on Presage watches dozens of times. I've looked at sales listings online even more than that. They've been in my cart on countless occasions. I've just never been able to take the leap. This is coming from a lifelong Seiko lover. I own many Seikos and I'm sure I'll own many more, but the Presage line, as tempting as it is, always left me feeling a bit hesitant. They're dressy but not quite traditionally so, being a bit too large for their designs. They have mineral glass, poor water resistance, underwhelming display case backs, and cheap straps. The Royal Smith is the complete opposite. This watch is nothing short of superb. Not only does it address all of the Presage series shortcomings, but it has this incredible, irresistible it factor. That madman thing, the vintage charm. This watch just screams special dress watch you think you're going to wear twice a year, but you end up wearing it every day. What about price, though? I can hear you already in the comments. This watch costs twice as much as a Presage. Yes, but while Presage watches, pretty as they are hard for me to justify even at their affordable price tags, this watch has me feeling like it's a bargain for twice the money. I went from being curious about Kuo from afar to being overwhelmed with respect for the brand. And that's because they respect us as a consumer. And that's rare in any industry. I own a fair number of high-end watches, and this watch has still managed to genuinely impress me. Not just for the price, but in general. The Royal Smith is Kuo's flagship watch, and now having tried one, I understand why. It's a triumph. All right, so what do you guys think? Do you like this watch? Do you want one? Would you go black or ivory? What about strap pairings? What would you pick? And what about the size? Let's talk about it. Tell me about your experience with vintage watch sizing. I want to hear about it, guys. Leave a comment below. All right, that's it. That's all. Remember to check the description for any relevant links, like where to find this beautiful watch. Again, Kuo hasn't asked me to put this link in there. I'm just doing it as a resource to anyone who wants to check it out. Till next week, bye-bye.